Antoni Gaudi, Barcelona's one-of-a-kind architect. Walking through the city of Barcelona, you can see many amazing buildings designed by the famous architect Antoni Gaudi, 1852 to 1926. Interesting shapes and bright colors make his design stand out from those of other architects. To this day, his unique style keeps inspiring people everywhere. Gaudi was born into a poor family in 1852 in the Catalonia region of Spain. He was a sickly child whose poor health kept him from being active. Gaudi spent a lot of time alone looking at nature and became very interested in its shapes, colors, and designs. His love of nature was combined with a strong interest in architecture when he visited an ancient church at a historical site in Tarragona. Moved by its greatness, he was inspired to design his own amazing buildings. In 1868, Gaudi moved to Barcelona to study architecture at the Escola Superior d'Arquitectura. Later, in order to graduate, he had to complete one final project, creating a design for a hospital. The school's dean, who didn't like Gaudi for once criticizing a building he had designed, failed Gaudi. Fortunately, one of Gaudi's professors gave him another chance, and he successfully completed a project designing a fountain. Signing Gaudi's diploma, the dean said, "Who knows if we have given this diploma to a nut or to a genius? Only time will tell." Shortly after graduating, Gaudi was asked to design a display case to show products at the Paris World Fair of 1878. A rich man named Eusèbe Güell fell in love with Gaudi's display case design and went to see him in person. Güell praised Gaudi's talent and eventually became Gaudi's close friend and greatest supporter. Thanks to Güell's support, Gaudi was able to start designing buildings the way he wanted. When asked about the inspiration for his designs, Gaudi is quoted as saying, "Everything comes from the great book of nature." In 1883, Gaudi was given the job of designing a house for a tile factory owner. Known as Casa Vicens, the building was designed to fit into its natural surroundings and includes colorful tiles showing yellow flowers and posts covered by plants. Later, Gaudi was asked to design a large summer house known as El Capricho, which was also constructed in such a way as to prevent harm to the natural features around it. Around the turn of the century, Güell asked Gaudi to build him a park that later became known as Park Güell. Gaudi made every effort to keep the natural features of the land it was built on, while creating a park filled with colorful and playful designs. Each of these three amazing projects reflects Gaudi's idea that nature should always come first and architecture should only add to it. Gaudi's most famous work, however, has yet to be finished. In 1883, he started working on a church in Barcelona, known as the Sagrada Familia. The project combined Gothic and Art Nouveau styles of architecture and included the construction of 18 church spires. Gaudi wanted the church to be built only by donations. In this regard, it is said that he was inspired by a 14th century church he had visited when he was a poor student, called Iglesia de Santa Maria del Mar, which was built thanks to people's donations. Gaudi also tried to keep the construction site peaceful so that it didn't disturb the community, and he demanded that poor and disabled people be allowed to help with the construction. After the construction of the Sagrada Familia began, several of Gaudi's family members and his dearest friend Güell died. Then, Gaudi started having health problems of his own. Believing he didn't have long to live, he said that it would be his final project. To make things worse, serious economic problems in the city of Barcelona and the start of World War I caused the construction to slow down. Despite this, Gaudí was not disturbed, with his mind made up to keep on building his greatest work. "It is impossible to build this church in 100 years," he said. "If we can't finish it, the next generation will take our place. And if the next generation can't finish it, let the following generation do it." After being hit by a tram on June 7, 1926, Gaudí was taken to a hospital for the poor. He had been mistaken as a poor person living on the street because he had stopped caring about his looks, focusing only on architecture. When his friends finally found him the next day and wanted to move him to a better hospital, he turned them down. Gaudí, who did not consider himself better than anyone else, told them, "I belong here, among the poor." He died 2 days later at the age of 74. In his will, he asked not to have a funeral procession held for him and donated his entire fortune to the church construction, which was still less than 1/4 complete. After he passed away, he was laid to rest in the middle of the Sagrada Familia. Today, Gaudí is remembered as one of the world's most unique architects. 7 of his buildings have been chosen as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the Sagrada Familia, which is expected to be completed in 2026, 100 years after he died. Only when the construction is finished will Gaudí's big dream be realized for the whole world to come and see his work.